Isaiah chapter 5 begins with a parable describing the unfaithfulness of Judah and Jerusalem. The people are like a vineyard and the Lord its caretaker. Isaiah 5 verses 4 through 7. What more could have been done to my vineyard that I have not done in it? Why then, when I expected it to bring forth good grapes, did it bring forth wild grapes? And now, please let me tell you what I will do to my vineyard. I will take away its hedge, and it shall be burned, and break down its wall, and it shall be trampled down. I will lay it waste. It shall not be pruned or dug, but there shall come up briars and thorns. I will also command the clouds, that they rain no rain on it. For the vineyard of the Lord of hosts is the house of Israel, and the men of Judah are his pleasant plant. He looked for justice, but behold, oppression; for righteousness, but behold, a cry for help. This passage confirms what we've read previously in Isaiah. The people of God have rejected his ways. The law calls for justice and righteousness, but Israel was rebellious and oppressive. The Lord had tended to his vineyard carefully and diligently, but Israel had borne only the fruit of wickedness. As God says, what more could he have done? What he means is there's nothing more he could have done. In verses 12 and 13, the sins of the people and the consequences are reduced to a simple but very important statement. But they do not regard the work of the Lord, nor consider the operation of his hands. Therefore my people have gone into captivity because they have no knowledge. The vineyard failed, not for lack of effort on the part of the Lord, but because his people did not respect the work that the Lord had done. This is a good reminder for us. Most of our blessings can easily be traced back to circumstances that are beyond our control. When we forget this, when we forget the work of the Lord, that's the beginning of our troubles. It's not really that we forget our obligations and what we must do. The trouble begins when we forget what the Lord has already done for us. Also notice verse 13 says, "My people have gone into captivity." This is a literary device commonly used in biblical prophecy called the prophetic perfect tense. God describes something that will happen, like going into captivity, as if it already has happened. At the time of Isaiah 5, the people were not yet in captivity, but their judgment was so certain that God speaks about it as if it already had happened. Isaiah 5 is also significant because it introduces the mechanism of God's judgment against Judah and Jerusalem. Isaiah 5 verse 26, "He will lift up a banner to the nations from afar, and will whistle to them from the end of the earth. Surely they shall come with speed, swiftly." This means that God will signal to the nations, calling for them to execute judgment on his people. Later passages in Isaiah clarify which nations would come against the southern nation of Judah. Syria and the northern kingdom of Israel came against Judah. This is Isaiah 7 verse 1. "Now it came to pass in the days of Ahaz, the son of Jotham, the son of Uzziah, king of Judah, that Rezin, king of Syria, and Pekah, the son of Remaliah, king of Israel, went up to Jerusalem to make war against it, but could not prevail against it." In the same chapter, the Lord promises that Assyria would also come against Judah. This is Isaiah 7 verse 17. "The Lord will bring the king of Assyria upon you and your people and your father's house, days that have not come since the days that Ephraim departed from Judah." Last of all, Isaiah explains later in the book that the final blow against Judah would come by way of the hand of the Babylonians. This is Isaiah 39 verse 6. "Behold, the days are coming when all that is in your house and what your fathers have accumulated until this day shall be carried away to Babylon. Nothing shall be left." God could have executed his judgment against Judah in any number of ways, but he chose to use human kingdoms. In most cases, these nations didn't even know that they were fulfilling the will of the Lord, otherwise they maybe wouldn't have done it. But this is how the Lord operates. The movement of nations is under the direction of God's infinite wisdom. This was true when God judged Judah, and it's still true today.